Hey, think it is live, and I'm hoping everything is working. If you've seen some streams before, it might not look a whole lot different, but this entire setup is in a completely different spot than it was the last time I picked it. Been moving some stuff around. All right, I'm doing Earthborne Rangers minis, the new sets. I have here Series 4 miniatures right on camera. These are the spirit speakers, is what I'm going to be working on. Uh, I have a whole bunch of other guys already primed and dry brushed, and I've started on the flesh for everybody. Hey, Janet. Did you go to Gen Con, Janet? Just wondering. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I've got everybody primed and dry brushed, ready to be painted, and I started on some flesh stuff. And I also started on the spirit effect for these spirit speakers. I just randomly, well, I shouldn't say randomly. I wanted to do a frog, in honor of Chub Frog, a frog spirit, and I asked him if he had to choose which spirit speaker was his favorite, and he chose the keeper. So the frog is going on the keeper. And then I just found a couple of other minis that I could print. So I found a cat. No, on Gen Con, we're moving on Monday. Oh yeah. So yeah, moving. I hate moving. Moving is the worst. So you have a cat spirit that the spirit effect on, and then there's a whole lot of bird stuff going on with this one, with the spirit speaker here, like the staff and helmet. So it only seemed appropriate. I may add a little more white to cover up a little bit more of the blue. It doesn't look as good on this zoomed in iPhone camera as it does in person. This is the same spirit kind of effect that I did on a bunch of other animals to match the some of the cards in the new set. So, the keeper got some brown hair. I'm gonna kind of do like a tannish. So on the card, in the art, the card has like kind of a very light beige overall tunic type thing. Some green in the sleeves, a lighter green on the sleeves and a darker green on the cape. We'll do a brown backpack. Uh, Maybe we'll do a lighter tan on the pants, and then we'll do maybe like a red leather boots. And we'll make that a plant, obviously. So let's just begin. Normally I wouldn't want to start with just with the cape, but I want to get the inside, I think. Kind of want to start inside and work out. So doing this part would be like normally last, but I want to get inside the legs. I've got all of them. So I had the first series from the first printing, and then here's the boxes for 2, 3, and 4. So I got a ton of people prepped. Like there's another 3 right there. A bunch prepped and ready to paint. Here's the other shapers. This one has got some water that they're like manipulating. I 3D printed that. And then a couple more back there. All right, so I think for the tunic, because it's going to be a lighter like beige, we could try bony matter, see what that looks like. So we'll do all of that and the hat piece. Actually, let's do the hair first. So I want to do like a brownish color for the hair. There's not a whole lot of it there, so that should be fast. Probably do the same leather color on the boots as we do on the gloves. And this little pouch thing right there. Don't need much of this paint because there's not a whole lot of hair there. Actually, I might do the same color hair for both of these, so we might as well just paint both of them now, since I've got it on the palette. Hit the helmet a little bit. True Earthborne fashion. We don't want to waste anything, so we will use what we have on the palette already. Oop, I almost put the brush in my drinking water cup. That would not have been the first time that's happened. It's happened a lot more when I used mugs. Actually, there's more hair here than I thought because there's hair on the front too. I used to use like coffee mugs to have the water, the brush cleaning water. And then if I had like a drink in a mug, that was a recipe for disaster. This could end up be a lot of like base coating too. We'll see if I want to go back and like do some highlights or whatnot a little later. Maybe some dry brushing on the cape. It's an easy spot to add a lot of really nice looking details when you get capes like that. Okay, bony matter here. Some of these I have to shape quite a bit. It's been a while. We'll see how this ends up looking. With just one coat, we might be able to get away with a bigger brush here. Oh, this is not dark at all. It's okay, we want to see how it dries though. And it might be fine to have this like light colored area once we get Like a nice foresty green on the cape cloak thing. And on the lighter color green on the sleeves. That's weird. It really did a hard coffee stain there. Could be the dry brushing underneath too. It looks a lot darker on camera than it does in person. Oh, the hat thing. I want to do the same color. Okay, now let's find. I think I want to do the backpack with a straight up acrylic and then wash it. Save that. I can do the pants and the boots last after cloak. So let's do a light green. A lighter green. I'm just gonna barely put this on because I don't want it to be too dark. On the arms here. So I need a tiny bit. We're only gonna put a tiny bit on the brush. Yeah, that's good. Just a tiny bit on the back there. We're gonna do a more muted type of green, I think, like a militarum green or something for the cloak. I didn't come around far enough with that tan color, I'm just noticing. On the shoulder. So I could get more of that out because I used all of it on the palette. Part of this shoulder here should be the bony matter color. And I want all of that to be cloak, I think. Okay, let's figure out a green for the cloak. Let's do some testing. Camo cloak might be the kind of the same as the military green. It's gonna be a little dark, maybe. It's okay though, because I could dry brush it to get a nice effect. Okay, so this obviously needs to be shaking quite a bit. Yeah, I think it's military green that I want to use. All right. The undercoating is really putting in some work here. I mean, I feel like capes and cloaks and stuff is where a technique like dry brushing really shines. And this undercoating, the white dry brushing on top of the primer to do the whatever you want to call it, slap chop method. It's really undercoating and then putting transparent paints top of an undercoating. But it got a fun name in a YouTube video, so that's what everybody calls it now. That was a lot. Too much. I'm gonna see how much detail I want to put on these after I get like initial base coats and stuff on them. Because like there's some straps on here that could be done in another color. If I wanted to take the time. Just a little bit of white showing on that arm, that sleeve. It's better. That's better. All right. Now, what is the, is it hardened leather? Let's go through and put leather on some stuff. What is the one that I like to use for boots? Oh, it's the fur, the go around the fur. Do not have a lot of this left. It's pretty hot in my garage, so I don't know if you can hear the fan going, but it's going. I know this is a fur color, but I think it makes great boots. Should we also do the backpack? Maybe with a little lighter touch. Less paint, so it's a little lighter color. We'll get the strap for the backpack. Which is very hard to see on this zoomed in iPhone camera. So I think I want to pick a different, like, tan color for the what's it called? Gloves and the pants. That was dangerous. I left this green pot open. Maybe I will do a straight up acrylic and wash it. Need much. Well, maybe for the pants we will, I guess. That'll get a little bit darker with the wash applied. For some reason, that spot right there is like very exaggerated on the camera. We'll get some more green and stuff here when we do like plants on the base and whatnot. Wash it. Well, now there's like a very noticeable. Okay. Now I think the plant area there is going to look probably pretty unrealistic because I want to really have it stand out. But I also want, where is it? This is our color we're going to use for the earth. Just putting some colors back. Clear up some space. Let's do the bottom real quick so I can dry. I think I want a more heavily used brush for this too, not this newer one. What do we got here? Yeah, let's use this honker. It's old number 2. Gonna need a lot more paint than that. Put down. I want to give this some time to dry before I wash it also. The rim is always the last thing that I paint, so I'm not worried about getting this brown on the rim. This is my favorite earth basing color. I'm almost out of it. I'm sure I can find another suitable shade for me. Gigantic collection of paints that I have. Okay, do not hit the frog. Do not hit the frog. I'm not as worried about hitting the boots because a little dirt on a Ranger's boots should seem perfectly normal. But dirt on the spirit frog. Might seem a little weird. Okay, I might have to switch brushes now. Oh man, I got some on the back of the frog's leg. Came right off with some water. There's a big spot under his belly that I can see on camera, but I can barely see in real life. Might just have to hope that the wash goes down there and darkens that. At least I can get there from the side, which I don't think I can. Yeah, we're just gonna have to let the wash get down in there. I just put paint all over the boot. Okay. So a wash and dry brush will help that. So I can already tell that I'm going to want to put a highlight on this tunic. At least accent the straps a little bit. So let's see if this is still in here. Is this brush small enough? This color might not be light enough. Yeah, I want to go even lighter than this color. Khaki's probably still not light enough. Let's try this. What percentage of the time will I be shaking paints? Okay. We're going for fast base coating because I want to get color on everything, on all of the characters. And then we'll put everything together and see where we need to brighten, highlight stuff. If we even do. I just want to do like a gray stone type color. For this ball in the hand, and then we'll do, it's not going to look very realistic, but we're going to do extremely green on the plant so it will stick out. Maybe a little artistic license with the realism. Okay. Paint. I flew out of the pot there. Or, it's not a pot, it's a, what are those things called? bottle. A bit of brown on the branch. As we can. This is very liquidy stuff. This used to be a super liquidy color, but that was years ago. Just take a tiny bit of right there, right there. Okay. Now I think we'll put a wash on this one, and then that'll give us some time while that dries to work on something else. Let's see what it looks like not so zoomed in. That one spot is so bright on the chest. Might have to get more of this grass earth shade also. Okay. This part is not that exciting. I don't think it need to be zoomed in for dumping a whole bunch of wash. Usually my formula for these bases is that earth, that Tierra earth, brown, agrax, earth shade, wash, and then you go back after it's dry and dry brush it. So some of the little stones will stand out. Am I gonna get wash into that spot under the frog? Tiny brush. Got part of it. Yes. Small win. Okay. Oh wait, I gotta do the pants and the gloves. Do not want this to be super dulling. I just want it to get a little bit into the folds. And the fingers. It's not very focused. Okay. I want to let that dry before we do anything else to it. So clearly the star of this miniature is this stuff going around it. Which I think we will do in a bunch of pastels. I kind of want to do, like, if the spirit wasn't on here, I think that blue would be a good, like, front tunic color. What about this? Because then I also want kind of like a pastel-y green for the cloak. It's going to be like the majority of the front here is going to be like this blue, or a blue, not maybe necessarily this one. Prismatic bolt. Maybe kind of watered down a little bit too, so not super heavy. And then will this green be enough of a contrast? Or I don't really have another good or this, maybe this frost blue stuff. This is Pilar Glacier for the front. I don't remember if this one actually coats very well or not. It might be okay. Can always cover it up. I did not get to go to Gen Con. Hello, Christopher. I had too much stuff going on at work like that exact week, and it's actually, well, it was last week and this week, all and next week. All the stuff going on at work. we're changing basically the software package that we use to run our company, and also the hardware. This might take a couple of coats. Sort of the hardware, so like instead of like terminal server remote connections, we're going to they were hosted by somebody else, switching to VDIs that we're hosting ourselves. But with the new software package, there's a lot of training and configuration and setting up all the users and importing the clients and lots of stuff to do. So I'm gonna let that dry, and I might go back and just add another, because I really like this pale blue sort of effect. There's a little pouch right here that will paint like a tan color, and there's like a little wolf pendant on here that we can also come back and paint later. But I think to get the real impact of this color, we might have to do a couple of coats. We'll paint this staff like a wooden color. And then I think we're going to have some fun with some pastel colors on the little spirit thing floating around here. Okay, so we've got like a blue on there. The shoulder pads and the arms are gonna be like almost like an off-white color. Mother of pearl. I don't know if you guys remember that commercial. Probably not. Probably one of the only the stupid things that I remember. Okay, so got that. These are probably still too blue, maybe not green enough. Let's try the ghoul green. We're going for like this spirit speaker was very foresty colored, and we're going with a lot more pastel-y colors for this mini. We still will have, I want to use the same Gorbranta fur for the backpack. We'll figure out a different color for the bedroll. We'll get brown on the shaft there. We'll do a leather color for that thing I already said. Okay, enough talking about doing it, and let's actually do it. I'm going to pick a little spot in the back here, I think, to test this, just to make sure that this is going to be... I want this to be kind of like a turquoisey kind of green, I guess. Yeah. It's not really turquoisey, I guess. Not at all, really. We've already got blue on the front, I guess. Probably could have mixed it. One of those other blues, but I'm fine with this. We will have some amazing colors on our special effect here. Did you get to go, Christopher, to Gen Con? A lot of the normal crew that I would have hung out with didn't get a chance to go this year either. I don't think even Rob and Mel were there because I saw them streaming this weekend, I think. I think Steve was able to go with Kim, but Derek didn't go because he went to UK Games Expo this year. I'm pretty sure. And Colin and Barrett didn't go. I did get a chance to hang out with him though. I don't know if you saw when I was on. I did a painting stream with Barrett on Meet Me at the Table, and then him and Colin and I played. Oh wow, what is the name of the game? The space game with the different planets. Is it Unsettled? Does that sound right? Yeah, Janet. Yeah, Rob and Mel were not there this year. Okay. I don't even know if I actually need to do another layer of the blue. It'll be nice and light compared to the leather color we get from the Gorgrunt fur. Gorgrunt fur. Usually when I'm not streaming, I probably would have saved painting the base on this one until I could have painted the base on a couple more and then did all of the washing at the same time so that all the wash could dry at the same time, and then I would go back and do all the dry brushing of the base at the same time. Kind of like I did with just going through and doing the flesh on all of these all at the same time, and then I went through and did the spirit animal on the 3 spirit speakers at the same time. Oh yeah, the backpack. color should we do the bedroll? Like a gray? It'll probably stick out if it's gray with pastels next to it. I definitely want to do these dark colors first, just in case I hit that area. I can put some more white or something down before I put the lighter colors on there. A lot of water on the brush too. Okay. Let's do the staff. Got all the backpack. I might almost want the shoulder pads to be the blue. Got a little bit on the back. There's my white. Where's the white? Are you moving far, Janet, or just or close? Yeah, I think the blue on the shoulder pads might look nice, and then we'll do. Oh, I might just leave the arms white. A little bit further north, new development back to single story out of a two-story. Oh. I like having it upstairs, except when you have to like take stuff up there. Like laundry and whatnot. That is going to be hard to fix. I got a little tiny bit of brown on some of the blue. And that particular spot is going to be a little difficult to deal with. So there's some weird angles here, so sorry if you're not seeing much, but I gotta manipulate the miniature around. I might have to start wearing my glasses when I'm painting. Been stubborn. Haven't been wearing them because I hardly need to. My eyes are not that bad. This is a lot of small close-up work. Yeah. Yeah, I know the feeling of not wanting to go downstairs. All right, get the staff done. Bedroll. Let me see if I take the light down. It goes on so light. I can hardly even tell it's there. See what it looks like when it dries. Might need a little more blue. Another coat. All right, let's do gray. Roll. What is this one? That's a metallic. That would be a tragedy. So I guess the art has the headpiece as like a white color. But we don't have to always stick to the art. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of paint I didn't even squeeze these bottles and the paint just like flies out of them. I gotta do the back of the head there. Okay. That looks better. Okay, let's take a look at our pastel colors. I don't know if this is really like a pastel-y yellow. Here, pastel salmon, princess pink, pastel lavender, indigo, and seafoam. Here, we got pastel yellow. So, what order should they be in? Probably purple at the end. That. Gonna add some medium because I want these to stay a little more wet. Okay. How many colors do we have here? We got 6. How much space do we got? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we get a little bit more than that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the purple at the bottom. Okay. Yellow. Salmon. Seafoam. Princess pink. This might end up looking really funky. Oh, I think I wanted purple at the end. The blue might be a little bit darker. That was too many drops. Okay, medium. I want it to be really runny. Gotta mix these up real quick. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, here goes nothing. Ooh, this one is maybe too runny. Hardly producing any color. Oh no. Okay, we won't do a whole lot of salmon. Seafoam was pretty light also. Princess Pink. Not that much different from the purple. So I think we will just dive right into the blue then. There are some boots down there we gotta paint. Okay, now I want to go back and and some more stuff. It's predominantly yellow at the top, but let's spot in a little bit of yellow there, and then we'll come back to spread it around. Blend it in a little bit. These things were pretty light and thin to begin with. Maybe they didn't even need the medium. Crazy pastel spirit wisp or something. Now, if let's paint the base and see if that helps it stand out. Because a lot of times, if you get a darker, like contrasting color, you see what else is going on. Oh gosh, that was a lot. Felt like it was clogged, and then I squeezed it a little bit. We might have to use up this paint on a couple other minis real quick. I come back and do those boots that are underneath there too. This is the thrilling part of any painting stream. Someone apply massive amounts of color to sand and glue, which is basically what the base is. Getting a more precise brush to do around the cat, but let's just... I don't want to waste this paint. Too much came out. So we will do a small break from the spirit speakers to do some assembly line painting. Who else has got a large base cover? This is the Path Warden. All right. Now let's make sure we have enough to finish. Oh, I'm going to switch brushes to do Kit Kat. There was a lot of paint on the brush. It is kind of odd when you're painting something that's this textured. Trying to get paint down. You don't necessarily have to get it all the way down in there because you're going to wash it anyways. I like to get a decent amount of coverage. Okay, we still have paint left. There was a clog in there because there's this weird patch of something in the middle of this paint on my cardboard over here. Like a glob. I had this bottle of earth color for a very long time. Okay. Oh, this mini actually came with a rock sculpted underneath the foot. It's nice when you get basing elements already started for you. And these rocks are going to get painted with not contrast or speed paint, so I'm not being super careful around them. There's not very many left. This might be the last one that I have paint on. Actually, I don't even think I'll be able to finish this one. Trying to speed through this before it final little bit here dries up. Okay. So these contrast paints are not, I don't think they're adding enough definition for their speed paints, I guess, to this effect. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Maybe a white dry brush. So then the color is in the recesses. little bit to the texture. There's just too many colors going on. I almost want to do it again. Leaving some of the colors in the recesses. I need a smaller dry brush. And then we're just going to do like yellow and blue. Way too close to the sun, too many colors. Okay. More white. This is really good paints. Pro Acryl, especially this white color. They make good stuff. Okay, we've gone heavy on the white again with just a little bit of color in the recesses. Is this yellow still good? No. I'm going to come back and dry brush that when it dries, just because it's a little strong. can add some of this. Still just not getting enough depth out of these pastels, I don't think. I almost need to go back over it with like apothecary white, some kind of gray or something. So it will go down in the recesses. I gotta let that dry before I attempt something like that. Yeah, Pro Acryl Army Painter Speed Paints. Good stuff. I don't know exactly if I added this. Like, just a little bit. If I go back over this with the dry brush, it'll look like the cat. Which maybe is fine because I know it's like a connection with the spirit on the base. Speed paints are not speed painting. Okay, yeah, if we put a dry brush on that. Just want to be able to see some of the detail. There's actually not a whole lot of detail in this part right here. It is pretty flat. Not like back here where there's a lot of bumps. I was hoping we get more color into those cracks. Just keep working it. All right, let's put the wash down on the base though. before I paint the boots, and it can dry. Actually, I want to do this before the brushing is paint. It's already pretty dead. It's always dangerous dry brushing small parts when you have other stuff already painted around it. I like that better. Getting a little bit of white on some of the texture. It's harder to see on the yellow. I'm wondering if the green now should be a little darker. Well, let's do the boots. Yeah, let me put all these pastels away. I don't think so. Boots. We actually get a lot out of putting some nice basing stuff, like tufts and bushes and stuff too. especially if we go with like darker green, like bushes. It might help the very light situation we've got going on. Okay, boots painted. Get some khaki. No, still got it dry. Sometimes I use gray for that, for this step also. Looks like the wash is drying really fast, actually. All right, so before stop, I thought I had a darker green container of bushes. Well, I need to go look for that stuff. But I got some meadow flowers I could add. Also, some green tufts. So I'll do up the bases on these. Finish up the bases. Actually, well, I'm gonna let this one dry before I start basing both of them, I guess. Look for more of my stuff. But I need to eat something. So I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Maybe. What time is it? Yeah, probably won't come back on streaming. I might paint some more stuff. I'll do some better close-up shots of these that hopefully they'll look nicer than what's happening on this camera from this iPhone. Yeah, but I want to get some kind of something on the base here that helps the light colors of this one stand out. I mean, actually, maybe if they're just like these Rangers are standing next to each other. It's already a big difference in the base just from that one little dry brush with the khaki. Okay, you too, Janet. Have a good night. And I will post again when I'm going to go live again. Thank you. See you next time.